Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Peyton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. Today is Monday, September 8th. And as promised, after I finish the Kansas recap, it won't just be my voice on the pod this time because I have Kenny. No Peyton. He's en route back from Columbia to his undisclosed. Well, I guess he's not. Or at the time you're listening, he probably is. The time of recording, he's spending an extra day in Como, which good for him. He'll go back to his undisclosed bunker. I want him to record more, Kenny, by the way, from where he was when he was on the show last. His scary looking padded room that kind of looked like a cell because one of the lights kept going out. It was very funny. I want him to do another show from there. Yeah,
the room that I guess doesn't have a charging port. Was that the issue?
Yeah, I don't know. It's an undisclosed bunker. They don't have anything. He's shut off from the world down there. But we'll have Peyton for the Louisiana preview, which actually is going to be less of a preview and more of potentially an interview. No spoilers yet. But we'll get to that. But Kenny, you were at the game as well as Peyton. You were obviously in the press box covering it for Mizzou today over at On 3. Before we rip into, we're going to do kind of some of the cleanup we're going to do for this season is going to be in the form of PFF. Shout out to PFF and our boy Max Chadwick. We're going to do some kind of numbers, look back at the game. That's how we'll do kind of our Sunday takeaways. But before we do that, quick 2 cents on the game, because I know you weren't on the recap. How was it? How was the atmosphere as well, looking on from the press box? Because that was one thing I couldn't talk about and share, but it seemed pretty awesome on TV.
Yeah, you go to like Texas A&M and, like it is one of those really big atmospheres. They tell you like, beware, the press box will shake. And it doesn't get to like that level, at Mizzou, it's not built in that same way, but you could kind of feel it. You could feel it just in the entire press box. You could feel the noise. That's like the loudest you've seen people. I had my eyes just I was on the side of the press box. I can look straight across and see the Kansas fans. They're getting into it as well. So I think that was a good ththing about the rivalry. It wasn't just like Mizzou really just going after Kansas the entire time. Kansas was giving it right back and, trying to get involved in the fan base. It's just seeing all the people on the sidelines too. I mean, you can get into it here in quick hits, but seeing a lot of people that showed up that, didn't even really play in some of these rivalries, or in the sense that, like a Kobe Brown who played it in the basketball version, but he came back. And our friend Nick Swanson, who's been on the show, I'm pretty sure at least once back when we were back in college, he was on the same flight as him. I mean, it's just like one of those things where it's like all these connections and all these people and familiar faces. I saw Martez Manuel sitting in the stands in one of the first rows, right up near the end zone. And so it's just cool to see a lot of those guys come back, and even basketball, football, no matter what it be. And it just brings in a lot of people, and just the entire town was just awesome. It was really cool just to see a lot of life there. And Saturdays for any college fan base is a lot of fun to be around.
Who did they have do Big Mo, or did they
Corby
not have one?
Jones?
Okay, Corby, got it. I don't know how I missed that, but I failed to mention that. Yeah, it looked like an awesome atmosphere. I saw a photo, I think I liked it on our account, from the West Virginia game, which was week 1 of the 2019 season, which of course was our first year as students at Mizzou, and the same section of fans shown then and then for the Kansas game. And just obviously it's a rivalry, but just the stark difference in support. It's kind of a scattering of people, and then it's striped out for a huge rivalry game. So, it shows the growth of this program too. But let's get into some cleanup from the game. I'm sure, Kenny, feel free to sprinkle in like what you saw on the field in addition to all the numbers we're about to throw at. But PFF, of course, does its grades from every game. And I think those are, kind of cool and important, sort of indicators that affirm, kind of what we watched in the eye test stuff. And we like our friends at PFF. So I thought that would be a good cleanup. I'll just rip through some, Kenny, from some of the best from Mizzou and where they some of the players kind of stacked up in week 2 in college football. I have some season grades as well. You start at the quarterback position, Bo Perbula. They gave him a 91.9 passing grade. That was number 4 in the country among quarterbacks last week. And actually on the season, he is 3rd among FBS QBs, 93.3 passing grade through the first 2 weeks. Kenny, he's been pretty flawless, as close to flawless as you can be through those first 2 weeks.
A guy who entered the season in a quarterback battle, and now you see him as the second, highest rated quarterback in PFF behind the guy from Tennessee. I'm blanking on his name.
Aguilar.
Joey Aguilar. Thank you. And just seeing that, it's like a guy who, even coming into this game, I listened to your recap, Jack, and Peyton talked about it. You want to see a more complete game for Bo. He was, starting to prove that he's not just a runner. He's not just this gadget quarterback that can do a lot of things. He can also sling it. And he was, putting the ball into the breadbasket, like you're talking about, with some of those catches. Daniel Blood was a big one that you saw, and Daniel Blood came up big in this game too. I think he really kind of turned into almost like a Mekhi Miller or a I guess Mekhi Miller or like Barrett Bannister with, how he was kind of just wide open and in that safety blanket on third down. Mookie Cooper. Yeah. It's someone on third down and he really kind of stepped up. And I think you saw a really complete game from Bo, just grades across the board. A little bit surprising. I don't really know how it factors in. We always look at these numbers. You look at the colors. Ooh, greens, blues. Like those are awesome to see. But over you look at a 39.8 run grade in this one. There's only 3 guys that got run grades because there's only 2 running backs in this game. But I found that pretty funny. I don't really know how much that factors in. You lose yardage when you take a sack, and he kind of went down a couple times. So I think that kind of plays into it. Too. And the fumble. Yeah, I was just looking back. So there's some key things that play into that because in reality, his longest rush was only 12 yards. And people know him as a running quarterback. And I think he just outperformed his running ability as a passer in this game.
Yeah, it said in the recap too. I think he got a little bit more buttoned up after the fumble, and you know what? Frankly, against Kansas secondary, his arm was working, so he was great. You talked about Daniel Blood. There were 2 receivers in the top 50 in receiving grade for week 2. One of them was Daniel Blood. He was actually the highest, 87.6. So I think PFF kind of recognizing, yes, albeit a few less targets than say a Kevin Coleman, who is the other name on this at an 85.4 receiving grade. That was the 43rd best last week. I think PFF kind of recognizing those or Daniel Blood's contributions and sort of how important they were and how big they were and just how consistent he was when he did get targeted. And it is crazy, Kenny. Missouri seems to keep finding these kind of these tertiary receivers who just continue to contribute in big moments. And then Kevin Coleman did what he did. And then I'll throw in as well, Missouri also seems to keep finding good running backs. Jamal Roberts, 82.6 run grade. That was the 18th best in week 2. So all those skill guys were really good. Ahmad Hardy not on there, but the other 3 were, obviously he was great as well.
I want to throw out this thing too, just about Daniel Blood, because I was thinking about it today, because he popped up on the board recently, name-wise, because someone was asking, did he even play in week 1? He had no targets. Jack, do you even remember seeing Daniel Blood on the field in week 1? No, God, you don't. No. So it's just one of those things. And I was thinking about it. You look at the last couple of years, he had 2 receptions in 2023, one of those being a big one against LSU. The next year, he only got 8 receptions for 81 yards. He has 2 right now. I think, if you saw that production maybe from Daniel Blood a couple, when he signed with Mizzou and he flipped from Louisiana and backed off that pledge, I think you'd be like, that's a decent kind of numbers as like a 4th or 5th wide receiver moving forward. But I think if he can really carve out a role as someone they can really trust on third downs and they see him on the field and he can get out in the flat, he can hit something on the outside. I think that's big. I think that would be a big role moving forward for him. I think he's a true junior right now. He burned his red shirt his freshman year, and he's probably not going to redshirt at all at this point. So I think, if he really carves out a role there, I think you're smooth sailing for Daniel Blood. I think you have to be very happy with kind of the career that's kind of shaping up to be. And I know we're kind of talking up a guy who's kind of down on the depth chart just because there's a lot of, top wide receiver options on this team. But I think it just shows you how deep this wide receiver room is. And we just keep talking about it. We sound like a broken record. And I think Daniel Blood is just another example of that.
Well, yeah. Like I said, you find these tertiary receivers, those win you games. There's going to be times, I think, especially with his skill set, where Marquise Johnson is probably not going to be as heavily used. And you have to find someone else to step up to be that complement to Kevin Coleman. I think Josh Manning is that. I think Daniel Blood is that. Certainly Donovan Olubade showed he could be that as well for the receivers. This next grade is interesting because I think you can get into the good and the bad here when you talk about Mizzou's offensive line in general. But the best grade of the week, Kenny, for Mizzou came from Caden Green, 90.9 pass block grade. That was the best in the country in week 2. He was really, really good out at left tackle pass blocking. I saw a funny tweet that I think it was from a Mizzou fan that said, Oklahoma fans told me Caden Green couldn't play left tackle. Maybe it was the coaching, which I thought was a good little dig there. But for as I think nervous as this offensive line still somewhat is making us, especially with that change, good news for him to see him playing so well in pass protection in week 1.
I think it's an offensive line that improved. I don't think we can see that on PFF, how the grades might have gotten better. But I thought, early on they were really getting pushed around and pushed backwards and just really wasn't playing well. And once you stop hearing people complain about the offensive line, I think it means the offensive line is shaping up a little bit better as it goes on. The only other thing I wanted to point out, and I noticed this in the big run, one of the last ones from Jamal Roberts, that Tristan Wilson was on the field. So I looked at it. I was just comparing the snaps through the offensive line. There was 86 offensive snaps total. And Curtis Piegler only took 80. So it kind of shows that Tristan Wilson slotted in for those 6 at right guard.
Yeah, Piegler was actually, of the starters, Mizzou's kind of lowest all-around offensive lineman on PFF, 60.1 pass block, 46.2 in the run blocking. I will shout out as well, though, Keegan Trost has gotten off to a nice start to the season. 80.2 run block grade through 2 weeks. That is the 10th best among FBS players currently. So he's one that is high in the ranking. I also forgot to mention Jamal Roberts, his run grade with the track he's on is 16th in the country among running backs.
Didn't Peyton point out Keegan Trost last week because PFF posted him, or Mizzou might have posted him?
I think it was he was on that PFF team for week 1. I think it was him, Coleman, Perbula, and somebody else. So, yeah, good news to that end for the Mizzou running game. I still think overall, and if Peyton was on this podcast, I think he'd agree. Still some shakiness for the O-line, but huge for Caden Green. And then the only defensive guy in the top 50, which again, you have to think that's very high, and you can categorize it with snap counts and stuff like that. So, the standout PFF performance defensively came from Jalen Catalon, 83.8 tackle grade. He did lead Mizzou in tackles. I think he had 6 total for the game for Mizzou. It was all around. I mean, there was obviously, I think there was some players on the defensive side of the ball, Kenny, that were buried a little bit. The stats probably don't show what their impact was. I talked about the QB hurries for guys like Damon Wilson and Darius Smith. Obviously, Zion Young had the forced fumble. Probably not going to show up in the PFF stats, but good for Catalon. I mean, veteran safety. Good to see him racking up the tackles, I think.
Yeah, I noticed it too, just on some of those plays, especially with, if the corners got beat or, he's at that roving spot at the safety position, he kind of just pops up everywhere. It seems like you always just see his number, his name behind someone. He's just always kind of tracking the ball really well. And I think that kind of showed in this game too, especially with the grades. I was looking at some of those defensive ones as well. I know you were kind of asking for some big sacks in this one. And Zion Young, of course, had that 1 sack. Darius Smith had 1 as well. Half sacks to Chris McClellan and Tristan Newsom. But you were looking something from Damon Wilson in this one, weren't you?
My goal for MVP was Zion Young, which, would I make a case normally? Yes, but unfortunately, you two picked Bo Perbula and Kevin Coleman, so I don't stand. I don't have a leg to stand on there.
So I thought this was funny too because I was looking at that with Damon Wilson. He had the 2nd best defensive grade of any player at Mizzou this past week. Or I guess this is just in general, right? No, this is against Kansas. Sorry, 79.1. He didn't record a single stat, and I was like, oh, maybe just running cardio. Pretty good pressure grade, 78.3, which is the best on the team. And Lance Leipold, the only thing I really pulled from his post-game press conference, they talked about Mizzou is the front 7 is just elite. The pressure that they were putting on the Jayhawks was seen and felt throughout that entire staff and entire team.
Yeah, the 2 others too, I sorted it by run defending. You had a couple really hard hits from Josiah Trotter. He had an 84.6 run defense grade. That's really good. Nick Rodriguez is actually first on the team in that in 15 snaps, which I think you're going to see him more. And then the only other one, which is interesting, only 21 snaps for Khalil Jacobs. He actually graded out pretty well in those, but again, you kind of see that linebacker room rotating. Maybe you'd see that a little bit higher, but again, he was just someone that was talked up so much in preseason. I don't know if we've seen him as much as maybe I thought we were going to, but still obviously getting on the field and playing decently well.
I think maybe the confusing thing was that, like, I think Josiah Trotter was listed as like an or like,
Right.
just the backup, one of the backup linebacker spots, and those unofficial depth charts just really don't matter because Josiah Trotter started this game with just like alongside Tristan Newson. With the coming back from the injury and the Khalil Jacobs, getting the C on his chest this year, I think it just kind of speaks to his character too, just of how much that's why you heard about him so much this year. And I don't think that takes away from his play, but I mean, you can watch Josiah Trotter all day. I think he was, you talk about those hard hits, those tackles for loss that he had. I feel like you felt it, and you could feel the energy. I mean, that was one of the bigger tackles that I saw in that game, was just things that were the ones that he was laying on the Jayhawks.
Yeah, he definitely makes his presence felt. It's just so insane. Like, this is it's probably insane is probably not the right word for this, but Damon Wilson, Darius Smith, 9 combined quarterback hurries, no combined tackles. Like, how often are you going to see that? It's funny. I think too, Peyton mentioned he wanted to see a good game from this guy. Chris McClellan had a underratedly good game, I thought too. He got some good pressure in the backfield, I thought.
Yeah, the defensive tackles altogether.
They were good.
Marcus Grosskell had some good numbers in there too. I think it's exactly what you want to see. Just from a unit that maybe there were some question marks about, how are they going to look this year? Because it's been such a deep room over the last couple of years, especially going back to 2023. What year is it? Yeah, 2023. Man, I was about to say.
And he's had a long evening.
It
was a long day yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't even get to sleep last night. I got woken up at 7 a.m. Said, "Get out of here." So yeah, I think it was a room that had some questions, and I think they were fair questions to have because they didn't really go out and get someone big in the transfer portal. And I think you're pretty happy with the progress so far.
I just want to end on this because I think you enjoy this as well. As the fun part about PFF is just looking at the bottom of the snap counts, and just Langdon Kitchen played 5 snaps. Don't remember ever seeing him on the field. He played 5. Who else played? Trajan Greco played 5 snaps, and Braylon Henderson played 5 snaps. I actually think I do remember seeing Braylon Henderson out there for a snap or two. See if there's any fun ones on offense. Jude James, 3 snaps. Nope.
He was good on special teams. I don't know if you noticed that. There was a couple of times he had 2 big hits on special teams, and people in the press box were like, "Who is that?" I'm like, that's Jude James. I mean, Durham Cato talked about him, and so did Eli Drinkwitz about how much they liked him. And I don't think you'll see too much on the field this year, just with Brett Norfleet looking healthy out there. But he's been good on special teams.
Did Daniel Blood have the best 9 snaps in a college game of all time? 2 catches for 39 yards. He only got the field for 9 snaps. If he got a touchdown, there's a case there, I think.
I'll point out this was my last one that I thought was funny, and it got brought up in one of our group chats. Kansas, I'm going to say technically, Kansas finished with 3 rushing yards in this game. That's what it came down to. Ahmad Hardy had 103 yards after contact.
I think he had over 100 yards in the first half, too.
Yeah.
I think he was up over that.
Like 114 or something.
Yeah.
Or like 98.
Yeah, it was close. Yeah, I mean, man, I think I said it on the pod. If you can get even 50% of what Jamal Roberts gave and 75% about what Ahmad Hardy gave, there's maybe a potential. This could be a really elite backfield for the duration of the season. There you go. Any other final Kansas cleanup things, Kenny, from yourself? No special teams grades for you to share.
No. I was going to say that. It's the only one that they don't have on here yet.
It's a bummer. Well, we'll have to revisit. I want
to see if there's a grade on that Connor Wesselman bomb.
It was a good punt. That was a good punt. And I apologize. You correctly pointed out, I think I said he only punted once. I totally forgot about the first quarter one. That was a quick 3 and out that just in one ear, out the other. So 2 punts for Connor Wesselman. And was I right? Did he pooch kick a kickoff? The first kickoff after they scored that first touchdown?
I don't know, because they were having issues with the ball kept falling over.
I thought he did
Kansas
a pooch
did,
punt,
at least,
because Kansas had good field position on their first drive. But there you go. There's some cleanups, PFF numbers, a little bit more intel into the game. Missouri beats Kansas 42-31 in the border war. Big win for Mizzou. They'll go on to Louisiana week 3, which, by the way, they are. Kenny, do you want to guess the line for Mizzou, Louisiana?
17.5.
No.
Higher or lower?
Higher.
Really?
Yes.
21.5.
Higher.
24.5.
24.5. They open on FanDuel for Mizzou, Louisiana.
I know Yeah, Louisiana's not good this year. They lost to Rice in week 1. They lost Walker Howard for the year. Who's their transfer quarterback from Ole Miss. So they're coming in pretty banged up.
Yeah, so good to know.
I'm actually not going. So
what?
I'm not going to the game.
Oh no!
No.
Won't be in attendance for Louisiana. Well, your presence will be missed in the press box, I'm sure. But we'll have some stuff kind of on that game, more on Mizzou's start to the season this week for Friday's show. But for now, Kenny and I will segue. We'll finish the show with quick hits. Okay, quick hits time. We'll finish out the show. It's just Kenny and I, so we're gonna have to put our collective thoughts together. How are we gonna do on the Daily Dozen without Peyton?
No. There's 3 NFL at the top. I wonder why.
Oh, look at. I wonder why.
All right, top left. Opening weekends can sometimes be tough for the Manning family as Archie Manning and the Saints lost 62-7 to this current day NFC South franchise in their 1973 opener.
Isn't this the one that he threw like a bunch of interceptions?
I mean, that would make sense. It was 62-7.
Who would they have lost to? It says the division, the NFC South?
Yeah, Tampa.
So we have a 1 in 3 chance.
I don't think it's Carolina.
I don't think it's Carolina or Atlanta. Tampa feels like a safe guess.
Incorrect. So I guess it's Atlanta. After having only 257 total rushing yards the season prior, this AFC South running back had 231 yards in his 2010 season opener against the Colts.
AFC South running back in 2010? Could this have been the Arian Foster breakout year, or was he already good? My other guess is Maurice Jones-Drew, but I think he was already pretty established by then.
There we go.
Nice.
That one's easy. They did that because he works for Barstool.
Oh,
in
that's
the 2019 opener, the Ravens threw 6 passing touchdowns against this AFC team's defense that included Minka Fitzpatrick and Xavier Howard. This is the
got to be the Steelers.
Dolphins.
Right? Oh, that's right. The Minka was on the Dolphins.
Geography. Home to some U.S. history and former collegiate athletes like Antonio Gates, Kyle Bauer, and Julian Edelman, Kent State is located in this U.S. state, Ohio.
It is Ohio.
There's a song about it.
They snapped like a 2-year losing streak in week 1, I saw in college football.
They're not allowed to go to the postseason, though.
They are not because their grades were bad. Wow, this is
that the Jeff apartments?
The guy's Jeff Goldblum.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
Is the
I always forget her name. She's in. What is she in? I keep thinking. The name I have is Jennifer Gardner, and it's not her, but it's someone. Angelina Jolie.
No.
Is that not her?
No.
I don't know. This is gonna be on you, man.
I keep thinking. Who's the girl in The Devil Wears Prada? I don't know.
That's Angelina Jolie, isn't it?
No, that's not Angelina Jolie.
Wait, that's who I was thinking of. I get it. Who is that? Can I Google that?
Yeah, just search.
Is that cheating?
Yeah, we know who it is. I mean, I think it's her.
Yeah. That's who I was thinking too. Anne Hathaway, dude. I always get her. I don't know why I get her confused so much.
Okay, incorrect. Didn't matter. Let's see. Wait.
That's brutal.
It was Goldblum. Like chain restaurants. What major fast food chain is currently offering a special edition gold sauce to pair with their chicken items?
Special edition gold sauce.
Major fast food chain.
Gold sauce. Popeyes? Kind of feels like a maybe.
Incorrect. Okay. Television. From 2016 to 2020, this Netflix documentary series followed JUCO football players with troubled pasts.
I have golfed on the campus of one of these places.
Which one?
East Mississippi Community College.
Oh.
They have a nice golf course on their campus.
Movies. Mark Wahlberg played Eagles. Oh my gosh. Wait, this is messed up. Mark Wahlberg played Eagles. Played Vince Papale.
I think he meant to say the position.
Yeah, played Eagles quarterback Vince Papale in this 2000 or it's linebacker, I think. 2006 sports biopic featuring Greg Kinnear and Elizabeth Banks.
This was like how the Packers signed Micah Packers.
What is this movie called? I see it.
Not the way back.
No, it gets recommended to me on Disney Plus.
I also haven't seen it, but I see it all the time. Underdog or something. It's like something.
Yeah, it's like Under something or Vengeance or I don't know. American Underdog.
It's one word.
Correct. Yeah, it's one word.
We should have got that right.
Colombian singer collaborated with Shakira and Becky G for hit songs like TGQ and Mommy. Is that right? Am I saying that right?
I know the answer to this.
Recently performed at the halftime show for the 2005 NFL Brazil opener. Who is it?
It is Carol G. I think.
How do you spell Carol G?
Wait, maybe it's not Carol G. That's going to be embarrassing. Is it not Carol?
Gina G?
G, right? Oh, it's with a K. Karol. There we go. Yeah, let's try Falcons, I guess.
Got it right.
We got it. Who was the other celeb in that?
Let's come back to it. McDonald's. Oh.
Gold sauce.
Should have known that. Movies, Invincible.
Oh whatever.
Gosh.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Who cares? I don't care.
Lucy Hale.
Nope. What happening? Lucy Hale. Wait, I have to look her up.
I've seen her. I don't know.
Oh, her. Okay. Yeah, I would not have named her, known her name, but I do recognize her. All right. There you go. We did okay. How many did we get? Like 7? Not 7. Like 5? 4 or 5?
We got 5.
Tigers in the wild. Kenny, what's your Tiger in the wild?
Tiger in the wild. Talking about players that were on the field coming back for the border war. This is actually 2 weeks in a row now for Justin Britt, who banged Big Mo in week 1. Came back. If you saw the videos on his Instagram, was running around near the Kansas Stadium with the Mizzou flag and flipping the bird and just stirring the pot, as Kyle wrote here. Kyle actually talked to Justin Britt, so if you want to hear from him just on like what that was like going into the border war, he's got a fun story just about Justin Britt just being so excited for the rivalry to be back.
That's cool that he caught up with him. Yeah, his video running by the stadium in Lawrence was hilarious. So good to see him getting back in the spirit. Peyton, who's your Tiger in the wild this week?
Peyton's Tiger in the wild goes to Luther Burden. I guess I'll show you the original tweet. He said, "Okay, cool." He always says "cool" with a K. But Luther Burden changed his number again. This is the second time because he was 87, 13.
No, he's
10.
Yeah, yes, that's what it was.
87, 13, 10. I thought 87 was cool. I understand, just kind of going back to more of a wide receiver number that fits him. I think Peyton cares more about this stuff than I do, though.
I also am a numbers like a numbers guru. I do like 10 for Luther Burden. I can easily get used to him being in one of the low numbers. It's fine. I kind of liked 13 because it at least had the 3, which is what he was at Mizzou. And then, he had so many good preseasons at 87. But you know what? Good tweet from the Bears. 10 out of 10. No notes. We'll rock with it. We'll rock with it at 10. My Tigers in the wild, I guess, go to a couple of former Mizzou men's basketball players. Kenny mentioned it at the top. Kobe Brown, who was on our friend's flight to Columbia, was in attendance for the border war, as well as Sean East and Tamar Bates. Of course, Kobe Brown and Sean East played in the first basketball. Oh, and our boy Ben Sternberg. Oh my God, friend of the program.
You could tell just by his curly hair.
Yeah, the curls right there. Nice Arizona. What is your thoughts on that Arizona Diamondbacks hat?
I have that hat.
There you go.
So I'm a fan.
Okay. A bunch of former Mizzou men's basketball players were all there. Very cool. They of course would have played, with the exception of Tamar, in the first border war for basketball back in 2022, which was a fun atmosphere. That's probably all I'm going to say about that game. But you know what? It was played. So yeah, cool to see. Headline of the week, Kenny. Your headline.
My headline comes from Missouri. Just Missouri's website, missouri.edu. Tradition of excellence extended, : President Moon Choi to lead the system, Mizzou through 2031. Pretty cool. This extension just came out like right before the border war, just the announcement a couple days leading up to it, or the day before on Friday. I know Drinkwitz was pretty excited. He put it out on Twitter too, saying, Moon Choi is one of the biggest supporters of Mizzou. And the other thing I wanted to add on this, because some people know, some people don't. He's been on our show twice before when we were back on the radio waves. But sometimes when I'm in the press box, I just like kind of get fixated on one thing and just watch it. I watched him like bring some people down onto the field to watch the game. I don't know like who they were, if they were someone important or not, but it was just so funny because he was just like moving them so quickly because he wanted to go watch the game. He's like like he's been on the show. He was a linebacker in high school.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a football guy.
Yeah, and so he was. There's not much room, in the north end zone right now. So he had to bring them around, and the guys that the man the cannon after each touchdown were like trying to move people out of the way because they didn't want them to be in the shot where the cannon goes because there's just no room on the sidelines over there. So he had to kind of maneuver people into the end zone to watch the game.
Moon Choi, just the gracious host. He's just moving people around. You'd think he'd have like people to do that, and then he'd just be someplace. But no, he's just walking around the field. I did see Bo Perbula. I think there was the video. He like came up to him and dapped him up. It was like, "We got you," and like did the thing if they got the win, which is kind of cool. But yeah, friend of the program, Moon Choi came up twice. Peyton's headline reads as follows. This comes from Mizzou Today. There you go. Another plug to Kyle. Mizzou breaks into AP poll at number 25. Yes, that's right, folks. The Tigers are ranked after their win over Kansas. Makes sense. I was kind of guessing that they'd slip into the poll with just a power conference win. So they come in at 25. Couple of new teams. They got helped because, Kenny, I don't know how much college football you got to watch after the game, but man, it was a kind of a chaotic week 2 of college football. So I'm glad Mizzou wasn't roped into that in the negative way. But you had a bunch of teams that lost. Arizona State, Florida, and SMU all dropped out after losing. And Mizzou, Auburn, and South Florida at 18 are all ranked. But yeah, Mizzou's ranked, Kenny.
Peyton and I made a joke that he just texted me and said, effing Alex Golish, man. It's just always him. Like he can do anything now. It just seems like he's going to be an SEC coach one day. I think that's going to happen. And we were joking. We're like, if Napier finally gets fired and the seat, finally burns out, Drinkwitz would go to Florida, and then Alex Golish would come to Mizzou. And he was like, I like that. He's like, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like he probably, Peyton said it before. He understands, one day maybe Drinkwitz really plays himself into a bigger job somewhere else. And he's like been pretty kind of set on, hey, Alex Golish could be a guy that I would like.
Great. Oh, that would be great.
That's totally hypothetical.
Yeah.
Totally hypothetical. I don't
totally
want this to be taken. This is just a joke that Peyton and I sent to each other, just talking about, who's going to take over for Florida if Napier actually finally gets canned. My other thing too, like I know there's a lot of hype around Lagway. He was a really good quarterback and he's very talented. There's a lot of guys coming back, and Florida had a good year, good end to last year. Of course, they knocked Ole Miss out of playoff contention. I don't get it. Like, what did I not see? Going into this year that Florida was just so highly ranked and then just gets bounced at home by South Florida.
Yeah, I mean, you have this happen sometimes. They ended the season pretty strong last year. I think they were kind of riding that, and quarterback plays such an important factor too. Like, especially with how many teams lost quarterbacks, they were like, Lagway came back, he was awesome. Maybe he'll just be like Lenore Sellers or Nussmeier, and I don't know. Do you want a funny how time flies thing?
Go for it.
With them. On September 7th, 2024, which is actually a year ago today, when we're recording this, Alabama beat South Florida 42-16. On September 7th, 2025, Alabama is ranked one spot below South Florida in the AP poll, which is kind of wild.
There was a game South Florida had a couple years ago. I think it was to finish like 6-6 or finish right on the border. And I was like, okay, Alex Golish, he's got something going on here. Like I was like pretty set then. And I think he's just, I think it might've been even after the FAU game when who's the coach? Tom Herman. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like one of those things too, where he's got the swagger.
Yeah. Yeah. He's good. They go to Miami next week, South Florida. If they win that game, I mean, that's a top, what do you put in, top 10 at that point? That's 3 ranked wins to start the season, including a win over who would be number 5, Miami. That would be unbelievable.
I don't think that's going to happen, but if it does, we might have to have a conversation about Notre Dame as well.
Yeah, potentially. I do think Miami is a legit team, so we'll see. But yeah, South Florida and Mizzou's ranked. That's a story. And then I think I meant to verify this too. Someone tweeted this. I don't know how official he is, that it's 11 SEC teams now ranked.
It's the most.
And that's the most ever, which would make sense given the conference realignment and all of that. So yeah, insane week in college football in week 2, and Mizzou reaps the benefits a little bit of it and gets into the top 25. My headline of the week reads as follows. Meet Carter Airy, I think is how you say his last name. Viral Mizzou fan who used 25K kick to boot ball at Kansas sideline. This comes from Eli Hoff at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Yes, the kid in the video who, instead of kicking the ball and trying a 45-yard field goal to win $25,000, who kicked it at the Kansas bench instead. You all saw him. It was a great video, hilarious. He pulls up his shirt and has the FKU on his chest painted. Eli tracked him down pretty cool and wrote a story about him. I'm not going to reveal his entire story. Go over to the Post-Dispatch if you want to read that. But pretty cool. Grew up cheering for Mizzou, played wheelchair basketball for the Tigers, and decided to kick the ball at Kansas's bench instead of the field goal. What was the reaction in the press box, Kenny, when that was going on, or was everyone dived in their work and didn't see it?
Everyone, a lot of people, some people got the video because they just want to see if the guy would make it. Because it would still be kind of cool if the guy made it at the
45-yard field goal. That's tough.
So everyone had their eyes on Carter, and I think we saw him run out there too. It's like, he's a prosthetic right leg too. And they're set up to have him kick with his right leg, and he just switches and kicks with his left right at the bench. And the one thing I just picked up on it is that the workers were just trying to get him off the field. Like I think they were just like trying to do it because they had the camera on him, and then he pulled his shirt up, and then they pulled it away after. And so it was cool. I mean, that's just one of those things like that. This is one of the stories that are fun to tell and just fun to learn more about Carter.
Yeah, so again, go over to the Post-Dispatch if you want to read Eli's story about him, but that is pretty cool. That's it. Kenny, I was trying to find, because we're recording this Sunday afternoon, I was trying to find our best beats, but I think I need to track them down because I might have deleted them, our best beats for NFL, because I think they were all for the afternoon games.
They should still be on the doc from Friday. But that doesn't matter. This one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Jack, what happens if you pass gas at church?
The Holy Ghost comes out. I don't know.
I guess that's okay. You sit in your own pew.
Oh, pew. No, I don't like that one. I didn't like that one. That was bad. This is Peyton's segment, buddy.
That was a good one.
I found them. I'm going to give us a best beats update. You picked the Rams. I don't think they've played yet.
The game hasn't started.
Game hasn't started. Peyton had Bengals -5.5. They're up by 1 with a minute in the fourth, and they have the ball. So that's looking a little grim for Peyton. I have the Raiders +2.5 underdogs. They're beating the Patriots by 10 in the fourth quarter right now. So good week, and we'll see how your Rams do. We'll revisit those on Friday. We'll have some more best beats 3 weeks. Yeah, your Rams, as you say, muted.
I'm just being nice, letting you talk.
I did that because they are playing your team, and you picked against your favorite team.
My team.
All right. Maybe we'll give you a new team. You could be a Colts fan. They're doing good. All right. That's it. Hope everyone enjoyed their NFL Sunday. There's a little recap from Mizzou. We'll be back this week. We will have probably an interview, potentially. Knock on wood. Hopefully we can secure that. But stay tuned. Thank you for watching, listening, subscribing to YouTube. You can give us a follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Twitter as well. We will be posting. I will have a Kansas video, so stay tuned as well for that. See you next time. Bye-bye.